Hello, hello, my love. I hope this finds you doing so well. I am excited to share with you that we're going to try something new out here on the podcast, here on Feminist Wellness. On Tuesdays, we will be doing a new segment called the Tenderoni Hotline. I'm so excited. So it's questions and answers to common questions that y'all have sent in, and I'll be pulling from anchored groups from the Somatic studio and other programs, common questions, exciting questions, fun questions about the nervous system, somatics, health, wellness, and I'm going to be doing some coaching. So if you have a coaching question or a general question you'd like me to answer on a Tuesday, send it in to podcast@Beatriz, Beatriz, albina.com, and I will be answering them every Tuesday. We'll see how it goes. If y'all are downloading them, if you're sending in emails, it seems to be going well, we'll keep it going. If not, we won't. Easy peasy, right? So I'm excited to get this started. I've got some really good questions on deck. Please do send yours on in and let me know if you enjoy this new segment. Here we go. The question is, why do I feel guilty for having or setting or trying to keep a boundary? Okay, this is I think we talk about this in Anchored every 5 to 7 seconds. It's such an important question, right? So guilt shows up around boundaries because most of us were never taught that boundaries are a form of love. We were taught that they're rejection. We were taught that they're selfish. So of course, when you finally say, please don't raise your voice at me. If you do, then I'm going to need to walk away from this conversation to take care of myself. And I will only re-enter the conversation once you're able to lower your tone and speak to me more respectfully. Eek! Eek! I mean, it's scary enough to get yourself there in the first place. And then, of course, afterwards, your nervous system lights up with guilt. Your brain is what the hell did I just do? It thinks you've broken the most important survival rule of all rules, which is, of course, keep everyone else comfortable at all costs. So, from a biological perspective, a psychological standpoint, boundaries can feel threatening because they potentially disrupt attachment. So your nervous system is wired to protect your place in the group, right? When you say no, when you draw a line, the amygdala, the fear center, big emotion center in the brain, often reads it as, they will be mad at me, which means they will hate me, which means they will leave, which means I will be existentially unsafe here on the savanna of evolution where we live, where there are lions and tigers, and of course, bears around every corner. And so from a biological perspective, it's not melodrama. It's just not. It may appear that way on the outside. I get it. But it's your body remembering childhood moments when displeasing someone really did cost you connection. When you were too loud and a parent told you to calm down, or you were too quiet and a caregiver was like, why don't you speak up? Or whatever, right? So let me share a story. I once worked with a client who she felt that she couldn't tell her best friend she didn't want to lend out her car. I remember her saying to me during coaching and Anchored, I'd rather pay for the repairs later than say no and have her be upset with me now. And that's the power of that super ingrained, deep guilt and shame. It tricks you into sacrificing yourself in the name of belonging. Oh, I remember also a client of mine, let's call her Megan. We worked on boundaries with her mom, limits with her mom for the 6 months in Anchored and probably another 3, 4, 5 months in Anchored alumni. And she really had this huge guilt wall that would come up around telling her mom that she couldn't talk to her on the phone every single day, which is what her mom wanted. And the thought was appropriate and what a good daughter does. There was a lot of shame, identity issue shame baked into this whole dynamic. And when she finally told her mom she wasn't available to talk every day, she got onto the Anchored. We have an online forum, and the beauty about Anchored being across so many time zones is there's often someone on when you need someone to lean on, which is really sweet. But I happened to be on and in the forum when she wrote to say that she finally said that to her mom. And then she hung up and immediately sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed, not because she regretted it, but because the guilt that crashed over her like a wave made her doubt everything in her life. Her nervous system was equating boundaries with betrayal, right? So let's also add into that the cultural piece. So patriarchy trains women to be what? Say it with me now. Endlessly giving, endlessly available, endlessly at your disposal. So when a human socialized as a woman with strong boundaries speaks up, what is she called? Cold, selfish, lady dog, if you know what I'm saying. We're keeping it rated PG around here. Men, on the other hand, are rewarded for boundaries, and women are punished. So the guilt, it isn't just personal. It isn't just your family dynamic. It's systemic. So what's the remedy? Like, cut to the chase, please. So you don't wait for guilt to disappear before setting boundaries. Because if you do, you're never going to set them. We need to practice setting the boundary with the guilt present and then surviving it. And then over time, your nervous system will learn guilt is just an echo of old conditioning. It's someone else's story about me when I take care of myself, or about what it means to take care of myself or oneself. It's not truth, right? And so that's what it really actually changes those neural grooves in your brain, is feeling the guilt, loving on it, being compassionate towards it, caring towards it. You know, in parts work, I bring internal family systems, IFS, and parts work into Anchored. And one of the things we work with is our parts, the parts of us, of our psyche. And so we can have this part that feels all this guilt, and we can give it love, we can give it care, we can give it support, we can snuggle it. And then as our grounded adult self, we can do the thing anyway, right? And that's what starts to change the internal story in our mind, because mindset matters. And bottom up, right, from the body up, it changes that neural groove that fires so that it actually feels less scary and less unsafe. What we also know from nervous system research and neuroscience research is that what's really vital is not to feel safe in order to take action, but to take action in order to feel safe. This is well studied, right? That we grow our capacity to feel safe in a moment by taking aligned action towards our goal, aligned action that serves us and the life we want to live, the identity we want to have. So I want to really encourage you to take the action, even when it's scary, even when you already feel guilty before doing it and know you'll feel guilty after. I want to really encourage you to name the limit and set the boundary. Another reframe, guilt can be a sign you're doing it right. So if you spend a lifetime saying yes when you want to say no, guilt is evidence that you're stepping outside the old pattern. One of my Anchored clients even started calling it her growth ache, which I just love. She said, oh, there's the ache. That means I did something new. Remember, a real boundary isn't, I don't like that, stop it. That's not a boundary, you silly goose. A real boundary is, if you do X, I'll do Y. It's about your behavior and what you're going to do to take care of you, not controlling them and theirs. That clarity, for me, it really makes boundaries not only stronger, but like cleaner. The edges are cut clean, right? And so when I can remember that, the guilt is so much easier to challenge within my own body, because I'm not trying to challenge them. I'm not trying to control them. I'm not, this has nothing to do with them. I'm just letting them know how I'm going to take care of me. And that is an act of amazing resentment prevention. Boundary setting is resentment prevention. So, my love, if you feel guilty for having boundaries, know this. Guilt is just your nervous system remembering old rules. And the most beautiful part is that you are allowed to write new ones. How amazing is that? Question: why do I procrastinate, even on things I actually care so much about? Okay, so procrastination is your nervous system trying to keep you safe. When you go to start trying to do something important, your body scans the scenario for risk or unsafety. If history taught you that mistakes lead to shame, or that achievement only ever raised the bar higher, your nervous system can flag even like exciting projects as dangerous. Instead of moving forward, your body pulls you into a freeze response. That dorsal we've talked about so much here. The sympathetic system, fight or flight, slams the gas. Do it now. And dorsal vagal hits the brakes. Too risky. Back it up. The result? Well, you're stuck in neutral. Numb, blank, or like busying yourself with anything but the thing, like maybe doom scrolling for a couple weeks one day. One of my clients had dreamed for years about starting her own business. She had the name picked out, a logo, ideas mapped, like everything ready. But every time she sat down to file the paperwork, she'd stare at the screen, frozen. Her nervous system was equating beginning with potential rejection. Makes sense, right? Another client kept forgetting to make a doctor's appointment, even though she worried about her health every day. For her, reaching out felt unsafe because as a child, asking for help usually led to being dismissed, mocked, negated. And the same thing happened to her as an adult in the medical system. So her body remembered and it froze. And then there's perfectionism, which so often rides shotgun here. If your sense of worth has always been tied to doing things flawlessly, then starting means risking imperfection. Patriarchy, of course, doubles down on this. Women are expected to excel without error, to get it right the first time, to be pleasing always. And that pressure fuels procrastination. All right, we start to say, better to not start than to fail. So to answer the question, why do I procrastinate? Because your body believes not starting is safer than starting and being exposed. So what I mean by that is, of course, compassion. It's attempting protection. It's not something wrong with you. So what helps is, well, first, compassion. Shaming yourself for procrastination only deepens the freeze. Second, shrink the task down to what I call kitten steps. Not write the book, just like open one document. Not organize the whole garage, just put one box by the door. Every micro step you complete sends your nervous system a message. Action doesn't equal danger. Action is, in fact, survivable, and you start to show yourself that you're a person capable of action. There's also another reframe. Success doesn't have to be the finished masterpiece. Success can be, I showed up for 3 minutes. I wrote one sentence. I walked around the block once. I made the call and left a message. When you mark those micro wins, and I mean write it down and check it off, your dopamine system learns to associate action with reward instead of dread. So, my darling, procrastination is never proof you don't care or that you're an F up. It's proof your body has been working overtime to protect you. And when you start meeting it with curiosity instead of shame and with kitten steps instead of impossible leaps into the abyss, you slowly retrain your nervous system to believe moving forward is safe enough for today and can add up to feeling actually quite safe in the end. You got this. Thank you so much for listening, my love. So much fun to enjoy those questions and answers, right? If there's something you want my answer to or want to get coached on by moi, send it in to podcast@beatricealbina.com and we'll put you on the list. Cannot wait to have your questions to answer. All right, my beauty. Thank you for joining me. Let's do what we do. Gentle hand on your heart should you feel so moved. And remember, you are safe. You are held. You are loved. Take care, my darling. Mwah. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.